How you doing, guys? Um, so this video, typical Subaru thing, we have to pull the engine of this car. So I'll give you a brief rundown of what happened. So I built this car with the engine that is laying over there. Ended up cracking. We think I cracked the piston because the engine started getting a lot of blow by. So I was driving home from work. I only work 10 minutes away from home, and in my 10-minute drive home, it filled oil catch can full of oil. I was like, oh shit. So we thought that it had filled oil catch can, which we think it's cracked piston. So we pulled that engine, and I had this engine laying in my Forester. So my daily driver, the daily driver we were working on in the last video. And what happened was I took the Bright Spark idea. I was like, well, in Ireland, the tax is so expensive on anything that is a 2 litre. This car is registered as a 1.5, so my tax will be cheaper. My insurance is also cheaper. So I'll take the engine out of my Forester. I'll put it in my Impreza. Now, it's meant to be a 1.5 non-turbo, but it's a turbo engine. It's a turbo swap, so that's like the full running gear, the full wire loop, everything. So it's basically a Bugatti Impreza, but in a 1.5 shell. So that's how I'm getting away with all the cheaper insurance and tax. But which isn't illegal because a lot of people do swap cars over here. So yeah, just it's a bit it's just a way to beat the system, I suppose. But yeah, so basically I took the engine out of my Forest and my daily driver, and I put it in this car. That's the engine there. Now this engine was in my Forest for 2 years, and it did amazing. It never gave me any trouble at all, besides blowing radiators up. So the radiators kept on blowing up, but they are normal radiators with a plastic cap. So I didn't really thought much of it. I was like, oh, the radiator's just perishing, or old radiators. So I would never thought anything of it. And then so I put the engine in this car, took the engine out of my Forest, put it in this car, and I was like, I'll drive away at this now, and I can use this car because I enjoy driving my Impreza. And so that's what I did. I started driving my Impreza about, and that was fine for the week. It was grand, and then the weekend we went up. Me and the girlfriend went to go basically on like a mini holiday, and we went up to the top of Ireland to Donegal, and it was fine the whole weekend. I mean, I absolutely rallied this thing every single back road, every main road. Like this thing was getting abused, and it was handling it perfectly fine. It was brilliant. It was really, really fun. I was really impressed with the car. I was like, I did a good job doing the engine swap, and the car felt amazing. Like it didn't give me any trouble all weekend. Well, it did, but but it didn't give me any trouble at all when it did give me trouble. Um, but then what happened was, so we're driving around, and we drove around Friday all up the road. Friday at work, home, that was fine. Saturday all up the road, all day driving Saturday, all day driving Sunday, and then away on the way down home, about 20 kilometers from home. I was driving handy. I was driving very easy. The car started overheating. I was like, that's strange. I've never had a car overheat before. And I was like, please don't tell me it's anything bad. I open up the coolant reservoir, it starts bubbling out, and I'm like, oh shit, this can only mean one thing. And I was like, well, if I can get the car home, like maybe I might be able to save the engine. So what happened was I went and I bought loads of water. I pulled into the first petrol station I could. I bought loads of water, and I tried to fill the radiator or whatever. And as soon as I filled the radiator, water was leaking out. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And lo and behold, see the way I have this white pipe here? So that white pipe was actually there, and I had to actually this black pipe was actually longer. I had to cut it because it actually got a hairline crack in it. And when I filled the water, and under any pressure, the water would piss out. And because the water pissed out, it obviously ran, the engine ran with no coolant and overheated the engine, which blew the head gasket then. So it was a lose-lose situation, to the point where I had to actually ring a tow truck, and I was kicking myself because when I have my Forester and the trailer, the that's why I have the Forester. That's why I have my trailer for scenarios when the likes of my Pretzels break down, or any car breaks down. My friends, I can go help them, pick them up, bring them home. But lo and behold, my Forester had no fucking engine in it. So yeah, it was a bit of a shitty situation now, to be fair. But yeah, so then I had to take the engine out of my good running driving white car, which is the car that'll be for sale soon. Um, well, which meant to be for sale soon. To put into my Forester, so I can have my daily driver back. So if anything happens between now and getting this car back up and running, or this car fixed, that it'll be fine. and yeah, so then I'll have my daily driver, and then this car sits without an engine. So the plan is, and this is going to be the video. This is going to be the series that I'm kind of going to try and start. So the plan is the engine has to come out of this. So today's video, we're taking the engine out of this. Then we have to replace the head gaskets on it. On a full gasket kit there, a full every single gasket that is associated with doing a head gasket, like with doing an engine or a super engine, I have. So we're replacing all the gaskets on that. Then that engine will be getting put in this. Then when the engine gets put in this, we'll get this running and driving and looking nice. So we'll put the wheels from, these wheels are going on this car. That suspension is going on this car. So when this car sells, I'll have enough money then to put my BC racing coilovers that I want to get on that. I have wheels in the corner for this as well, and I want to get a wide body kit for this. So then that car, then we'll also get that engine over there built, and then it'll be put in this car. So then this car will have a fully built engine, wide body kit, new wheels, lowered suspension. It'll be a good job when it's finished. But that's the plan, all going well, fingers crossed. But I need the funds out of the white car. So that's what today's goal is. Today's goal is we're going to take the engine out of this. We're going to put it on the engine stand, which is directly behind me right there. And then in the next few episodes, we're going to be tearing the engine down. We're going to make sure it's a head gasket issue. Then make sure the head's all right. Make sure the block's all right. And then sticking all the new gaskets on, new head gaskets on, and then torquing all to spec. Following, I have a Haynes manual there that we can use to follow. Following the Haynes manual. What specs we need and all that type of stuff, getting the engine up, buttoned up and back together, making sure it's tip-top condition, and then throwing it in this car. And then once it's just in this car was running and driving when it came out, so I'm not too worried about this car running and driving afterwards. So once it's in this car, we will get this car up and running, we'll get everything finished. So this car needs a few more things to actually finish it off, stick this car up for sale, and then if you guys want to buy it, you could buy it. You guys will know the build process of it. You know it'll be done right. So yeah. But that's today's plan. So I'm going to put you guys down. I'm going to get out a time lapse, and then we're going to take out the engine of the black impreza. Alright guys, so just before the time lapse does start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a brief rundown on what I like to do first. So first and foremost, what I like to do is we have to drain the radiator. Now, you see the radiator held on with cable ties. I had to do that because I shortened this hose too short, so I had to actually push it closer, so I can finally take this radiator out, flush the radiator out of all the water that is probably now gone rusty, or all bad. So probably no water in it because it's all probably in the engine. Yeah, it's bone dry. So yeah, we'll take that radiator out, we'll flush it out, we'll get it all ready for the stuff. We'll order my new hoses and everything. And then after you take the radiator out, you have it all drained, I like to take the intake out. Then after the intake comes out, I like to take the intercooler off. After that, we'll take the battery out. And then after we have the battery out, we'll do all the side accessories. So the main thing is you have your turbo bolts there, you have 5 bolts there. After your 5 bolts come out, then you want to do your bell housing bolts. You have 4 on one side, 4 on the other side, 2 nuts on the bottom. And then you have 2 nuts for the engine mount. Engine mounts, one on this side of the engine, one on that side of the engine. Once you loosen them, you can actually put your engine crane in and hoist the engine out. Once the engine comes out, so you lift it up a little bit, you pull it forward, you lift it up, pull it forward, lift it up, pull it out, and the engine comes out. Then once the engine's out, we'll put it on the stand over there. But I'll put you guys down now so you guys can put you on a time lapse. You guys can follow what I'm doing and how I get the engine out. And once I have the engine out, I'll update you on the tear down and what we're going to do next. there you have it, guys. An engine removed out of my impreza. So now the plan is to get this engine torn down. Once the engine is torn down, check over, make sure everything's okay. It still ran and drove, so I think compression is okay. I don't know. When I say compression is okay, I think everything else is okay. I don't think water got into the oil, but we'll drain it and we'll check. There was still a little bit of coolant left in it, so I'm kind of confident that it wasn't ran for long enough. I don't think I damaged anything major. I think it's just a case of the minute I noticed it, I switched it off and I never let it get too bad. I never let it see over 105, like 105 degrees Celsius. So, which is the boiling point of water, but to warp metal, I said it'd take a lot harder than that. So we'll just disassemble it in the next video. We'll drain the oil. We'll check the oil. Make sure there's no bearing material in it, because there's no bearing material in it. Fingers crossed. All good. We'll strip her down. We'll rotate the assembly. We'll hear what she sounds like. We'll just keep going from there. Replace all the stuff. Follow the manual. Now this is my first time doing it by myself. I've seen people do it before. I've been with people who helped them do it before, but this is my first time by myself. So I'm fairly confident. I'm just going to follow it to the letter, to exactly what the manual tells me to do, and yeah. So that's the end of today's video. I hope it was helpful. If it wasn't, it was just more of a vlog style video anyway. As I said, what I usually start with is periodically just look at what needs to be connected, work my way from left to right of the engine bay. So like first and foremost, take the radiator out, what your radiator is at, then your intercooler, then your air intake, then your battery, then disconnect all your hoses. Just periodically just go through it. It's not hard. Take your time. There's nobody rushing you. Just don't panic. Your turbo manifold bolts, there's 5 bolts, as you can see there. They're a pain because over time they have a lot of heat. So yeah, they do tend to give a bit of issues, but take your time. Penetrating fluid is your friend. Use penetrating fluid as much as you can, and yeah, then you can remove any engine from Subaru. So yeah, thanks for the well, I don't know what I'm saying. Thanks for the video, but thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, put down in the comments, share. A share helps me out massively. As you can tell, I'm only starting this. I'm only small. Sharing it gets that to more people, and once that's to more people, then hopefully I can appeal to a larger audience, and then we can start getting more subscribers, and then the more subscribers we get, the higher our count is, and then obviously we can do bigger and better things. So yeah, please share if you can. Thanks.